Alrighty, hello folks, and welcome to a unusual Saturday stream. My name is Neil. I am an indie TTRPG designer of a game that we normally play on Tuesdays here called Fey Earth. TTRPG set in an alternate 19th century Earth world. The creatures and folklore and fairy tale are real, have always been real, live alongside humanity. But today we are playing another. I'm calling it an indie game, even though it was made by Critical Role. They are still indie. System, which I love, called Candela Obscura. Um, Somewhat similar vibes to Fey Earth, whereas Fey Earth is set in the late 19th century. Candela Obscura is set in a fictional world that's kind of equivalent to pre-World War One Europe. Think like 1908, 1910, post-industrial revolution, early electrification period, in which there's magic and spooky shit. But enough about me. Let us hear from our beautiful players. Who would like to introduce themselves first? Or will I randomly pick? Eeny, meeny, miny. Apollo, you get to go first.
But did you see that I was retreating? You can't do that if I'm retreating. Hey everyone, my name's Apollo. I'm an Irish. Cosplayer, voice actor sometimes, teacher, RPG performer. Today, I will be taking on the role of the weird because God, if that ain't me.
Okay, Michelle.
Hello, everyone. My name's Michelle. I'm an actor, singer, voice actor, and today, detective. Ooh.
Okay. And finally, Polina.
It took me forever to find how to unmute myself. Hi, my name is Polina. I am a lead artist for Fey Earth, and today I'm going to play journalist.
Okay. Right. Well, then let us get started. Okay. And as always is the case with these things, you want your. Where is it? Oh, great. My file has just decided to be all weird and everything has moved around. That's exactly what I need literally just before I go live. Here we go. So, set the scene. A tired man home after a long day's work in the highborn house that he's part of a household staff of. Looking at what is in his pantry, hungry but not desiring any of the food he has available to cook. The constant sparks of light from the overhead electrical cables that hang so close to homes this high up in South Suffolk, reminding the inhabitants in this section of their place in society and how they are still looked down upon despite being at such a height. He takes some beans out of the pantry and moves over to his cooker to prepare a simple meal. The sparks of light from outside create a light that flashes through his windows, forming shadows which leap across the room and growing before they suddenly disappear. It is a dazzling sight to those not used to it, but these shadows hide a greater shadow that appears outside his window. A huge, dark shape appearing to stretch out and elongate as it descends before pulling itself further. A long, pale arm covered in leathery skin with a hand ending in long black claws reaches out and pushes his window open before slipping inside, the once immense form turning into a shadow, easily able to enter. Its form reappears inside, a large, dark shape clinging to the ceiling as it slowly undulates, creeping across the room, waiting, looking at its prey. As the young man moves towards the simple table to consume his simple meal, he does not see the shadow above him until it's too late, dropping down upon him, pinning him to the floor. Looking up in alarm, he sees a terrible visage, a feminine face, or at least it would be if not for the dark, glassy black eyes appearing above a large circular mouth filled with razor sharp teeth that suddenly descends down and bites. So, how about each of you give us a proper introduction of your character? We'll start again with Apollo.
I was about to pull out the rock, paper, scissors. See it? Yeah. Am I just in my shop or where am I?
We'll just listen to your. I imagine we did agree that your circle was in basically a early 20th century WeWork office, so we can say yous are all there, okay?
As it should be. Towards the window of the little office, I would assume that this office is just kind of like a floor of like a little apartment
Absolutely.
building. There's like
Yeah.
there's the big ass windows, like
Mhm.
full
Yeah.
floor length windows.
Mhm.
Next to one of these windows is a extremely disorganized desk. There are research papers. There are pens and inkwells that have just been spilled over many times. There are little pieces of gadgetry and just electric circuits that are half put together, things that have clearly been deconstructed and then reconstructed, alongside manuals on paranormal phenomena. Standing above all of these, very disheveled and sleep deprived, stands a male figure. He's a little bit spindly. You can tell that he's not taking care of himself properly because he is just focused on his work. He has a very like Frankenstein's monster-esque shock of like white hair across like a couple of his front like long dreadlocks that have been tied up, and he's not wearing goggles now, but you can tell that he usually does because his dark skin, there's just like a circle of like soot or something just around the eyes from where some little machine has backfired and exploded in his face. And he just is sitting there tapping just a light bulb, just watching it turn on and off, on and off. And this is Harrison.
Okay. Gilda, do you want to describe yourself?
Sure. So Gilda is lurking with her legs crossed, holding a cigarette holder with an unlit cigarette. It's just a habit. She likes to hold it. And she is watching this light flicking on and off as Harrison noodles about with it. And she kind of pulls that fedora she always has over one eye to try and create the most dramatic shadow possible when every time the light comes on. And once she's perfected her lounging pose, she kind of wriggles into place, makes sure that her long red hair, which might be a wig, no one would dare to ask, is perfectly splayed across her shoulders, and says, Harry, I do wish you would stop playing around.
But do you just want like more consistent light? Because I can set up like some if you just want a nice effect on you.
Well, if you're offering, wouldn't do any harm when the clients come in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like set up like an older like oil lamp or something. I'm just gonna just have it project on her so that she gets that nice little shadow. I'll say I'm gonna keep working on this because we might need this when we go out if we get an assignment.
Okay, I'm just going to keep working on the perfect greeting pose. Don't mind me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and Marie, do you want to describe yourself?
Marie's desk is slightly more organized than Apollo's desk, but not too much. It's full of papers and nothing more than papers, actually. It's all papers. And she's just frantically writing something, pretending that she's ignoring everything that is happening. But when Gilda said, I'm going to perfect her pose, she clicks her tongue a little bit and like rolls her eyes slightly, but no one notices. And she just keeps going through papers, frowning, looking at one paper, then into the other paper, then writing something down, then maybe ripping the paper apart, or like making a ball out of it and throwing it somewhere. There is like a little mountain of like paper balls behind her desk.
Mm-hmm.
She's dressed in all black, tidy, but nothing extraordinary. She's wearing all man's clothes. She has short black hair, like in a bob, brown eyes, and very pale skin.
Okay. Right. So you guys are, as I said, sitting around when you hear a knock at the door of the office. Okay. Who's going up to answer?
No one is going to answer, so Marie's going to go like, okay, fine. She's going to make a ball out of whatever she was writing, throw it behind her, stand up, and quickly walk to the door.
When
I'm
you
not moving. I just got my pose right.
So
I
when
know.
opening the door, you see a young lad, street urchin, and he hands you a piece of paper with a seal. Okay. And you recognize this seal immediately. This is a message from Thandi Ceridwen, pronouns they, them. They are the light keeper of your circle. Okay. So as you step back, you throw him a coin, a simple copper or whatever. And going back in, you open it up and you see a message in their beautifully immaculate handwriting. I request your circle to discuss a matter that has happened, a new phenomenon we believe within the city. If you could please come to my shop today at your earliest convenience, that would be greatly appreciated. TC.
Yes, finally something.
My question is, if all three of us are always already here, why does Sandy always make us go to them?
Because he can. They can.
It's power play.
Yes, and unfortunately it always works. Let's go.
It's good to stretch your legs.
Yes, well, they won't stay this shapely on their own. You're quite right, Murray.
I can make a machine for that, maybe. I don't know.
Oh. I'll throw on my trench coat. Dramatically flick the hair out.
Mm-hmm. So, where are we? So, Thandi has a shop. Their shop is this bookshop cafe. Okay. That they operate out of. They're a very particular person, very very organized, but they do enjoy the finer things in life. So this aesthetic of a place of knowledge and learning, perfectly categorized and organized in this comfy place where you can get good coffee, nice selections of teas, and little pastries and cucumber sandwiches is very much Thandi's vibe. Okay. It's a relatively short walk from where you guys are, about 20 minutes or so. You know it well. Okay. She's in one of the slightly nicer parts of the city, kind of adjacent to the gallery section of the city, whereas you guys are kind of like adjacent to the adjacent, it's like, but so you get there, going inside, a nod to the barista who's working there, and you see Thandi down the back. At the back of the shop, there's this little nook where they have this selection of high-backed chairs arranged in a semicircle, and Thandi is always sitting at their chair.
Just walking in and waving.
Good afternoon. We've just received your message.
Please sit down. So, Thandi is a slender figure, but with a strong and athletic build. They've got a very masculine jawline, but they've the delicate, flawless makeup, which is always perfectly applied, and perfectly coiffed hair, off wearing fine blouses and exquisite walking skirts that makes this figure of beauty that seems to bridge both the masculine and the feminine. Okay. And in fairness, one thing, Jill, that you do love about Thandi is her blouses and her outfits. While it's a different aesthetic to you, their coordination is always immaculate.
Sandy, darling, you've got to tell me the secret of how you get your coal so perfectly symmetrical every time.
Oh, stubbornness, my darling, stubbornness. And I suppose it helps living in a building with relatively low humidity.
Interesting tip. Harrison, you
Yeah.
think we can work on that?
Mm.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna pull up my little light bulb, just kind of start.
So,
To anyone else, it just looks like a light bulb, but it has a little bleed detector built in, so it'll light up whenever there's bleed present. I'm just like,
yeah.
well, this isn't what it's used for, so maybe.
I can't get my hair curled, even if I want to. Tragic.
Tragic.
That is tragic, my love. That is tragic.
A moment of silence for your lack of curls.
So, and as you sit down a minute later, your various drinks that you always get arrive. Okay, Marie, I'm imagining with you, it's probably a coffee. Yes.
It's the blackest
Yeah,
of the black
the
coffee.
blackest of the blackest coffees. Yes. Jill,
And Marie is going to light a cigarette because she only smokes when she drinks coffee.
yeah, absolutely. And this is Newfaire. This is not the European Union. You can smoke indoors.
Gilda wants the most ridiculous whipped cream, sugary nonsense every time, but every time she orders a single espresso because the aesthetics are better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then she forces it down and tries not to visibly cringe at how much she detests the bitter taste.
And there's always a small selection of sugar cubes beside because the barista gets that you struggle to drink this, but you're never going to admit it and put the sugar in, you know?
Absolutely not, darling.
You can't admit defeat like that.
No.
No.
And Harrison, what do you drink? What's your beverage of choice?
I think that I have so much caffeine in my system that if I have more caffeine, I genuinely will explode.
Yeah.
So I think I just get water and I look at the coffee intensely.
Oh, okay, right, super.
I feel like you're the kind of character who would drink like paint water if it's in front of him and just like
Oh,
busy his
I've
work
made
and
that
be like,
mistake. For sure. For sure,
Aren't
I've
we
made the
all?
mistake and just been like, well, it's still water.
Exactly.
Super. So, Tandy turns to us. Well, there have been a number of deaths around the city. The most recent of which happened last night, but we have two other bodies in the morgue with identical injuries and signs of phenomenon. Last night's victim was an Anthony Wellbright. He has household staff in one of the highborn houses. The other victim was Mary Kentle. She was found a few nights ago, a young woman who's a singer in one of the clubs in the Red Lamp district, and um, the first victim, um, Bentley Grantham. He is a security guard in a warehouse, which we believe is run by the Red Hand. Okay. Um, so all I know so far is that they all have similar injuries, large circular bite marks across their bodies, not like any sort of mundane creature, and other fluids, shall we say.
Is there a chance we could examine the bodies?
Most certainly, I have here for you, and she hands you some pieces of paper. This is some passes so that you can go into the morgue. I got these from our contact in the OUP, so you'll be able
Thank
to.
you so much.
Yeah, no,
As always, it's a legend.
Of course, yes.
I'm just looking at like, oh, other fluids. Oh. Oh.
So she Thandi has a contact in the Office of Unexplained Phenomenon. This is the official government department that deals with phenomenon, which is what magic is called in this system, and their job is to basically suppress it. Magic exists in the world of Candela Obscura, but 99% of the population has no idea that this is the case. Despite the fact that when magic or phenomenon happen around people, bad things often happen to said people. So that's what the OUP does. And obviously, the Candela Obscura works to a higher extent, not just trying to suppress knowledge of magic, but to understand, control it, and prevent these phenomenon from appearing and harming people. So it's not uncommon that agents within the OUP will have contacts with light keepers in the Candela, and they will often work together to help each other out. So getting this kind of official, low level official government passes is something that you are fairly used to. Okay.
Mhm. Okay. On the map. So, as a player who's not, I haven't played the game before in the system
Yeah, of
before, so I
course.
have no idea
Yeah.
how far those locations are from each other.
So the Red Lamp District is hello, go away, you random pop up on my monitor. So the Red Lamp District is kind of it's the part of the city which has it has nightclubs, bordellos, brothels. It's where people go for their fun. Okay. Then you've got the South Suffolk is it's a residential area that's beneath basically the rich part of the city. Okay. Um, so most of the people working in South Suffolk either work as trades and craftspeople, or they're working as household staff for the rich and the wealthy. Okay. So um, it's probably like about a 25-minute walk from the Red Lamp District to South Suffolk, where this guy's apartment would have been. And then the warehouses was probably about another 15 minutes away. So they're like not crazy distances from each other, um, but they're not like directly beside each other, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And with South Suffolk, basically you said it's like a below reach, kind of like next to the reach area.
Mm.
So the reach area would be closer than, let's say, the warehouse or the Red Lamp District.
Yeah, so if you think of the geography of the city, basically South Suffolk is kind of like in a valley within the city of Newfaire, and you've got various different tenement buildings built up along the sides of the hill. The poorest people live at the top. Their apartments are very close to the electrical cables that cross over this section of the city. The wealthier people in South Suffolk are at the bottom, where it's slightly safer. And then on the top of that hill, on the top of the valley, up above the riffraff and pollution, is where the wealthy manor estates of the highborn of society are.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Cool. No, cool. So, and please, if I know, like Polina, this is your first time playing the game, and Apollo, you haven't. I think did you play this once before?
Once.
Yeah. So do not be afraid to ask me any questions at all in this game. Okay, I will try to answer them as best I can, but we'll get it through it. Okay. So, you finish your cups of tea, and you want where do you want to go now? Do you want you were given obviously those passes for the to get into the morgue. You were also given the address of the most recent victim's apartment in South Suffolk. So it's your choice where you want to go first.
I mean, which is closer?
They're kind of, I'm not being funny, they're kind of equidistant but in opposite directions, you know?
God damn it.
I suggest going to morgue first.
Yep.
Dead people in the dark give me shivers.
Get them out of the way.
Yes, I do prefer dead people in the light. Let's go.
I got light.
Okay, so you guys head to Newfaire Morgue, okay? It's a very large, very somber-looking building. Going in, you flash your passes to the, like, reception front desky people, and they just wave you through. You've been here once or twice before, but literally only once or twice, okay? As you the building itself is lit by flickering electrical lights, which are quite distracting because it's almost like they're faulty. They're constantly like flickering and flashing on and off in that really annoying way that electrical like really badly made electrical lighting can be. Um, but you know you have to travel towards the back of the building. That's where the examination rooms are. Okay, so traveling in towards the back of the building, find yourselves coming into the examination room where you see standing in front of you a very small, delicate-looking woman, porcelain skin, jet black hair, wearing a pair of half-moon spectacles perched on their nose. This is Charlotte Shavel, pronoun she/they, who's one of the senior morticians in the morgue, and she appears to be examining the body of a young man who looks like he was stabbed multiple times in the chest. So hearing you come through the front door, looking at him, she says, "Oh, can I help you all?"
Yeah, we're. Can I? I wonder, can I say that we're from Candela Obscura because I'm not familiar with the word building?
You can, but she might not know what that is. So it might be easier to just
Gotcha.
say, "Hi, I'm a journalist and we're investigating." You
Fair,
know? Yeah.
fair. Hi, we're a group of independent investigators,
Mhm.
and we would like to examine this young man's body.
This young man?
Yeah,
Okay, well, he was killed in a gang fight in the Red Lamp district last night.
we're trying to find the gang. They're really infamous, and they use specific weapon that we're trying to identify.
Okay, well, I can tell you now the weapon was a knife.
Well, but it's a very specific knife. Have you seen any ones like that before?
Um, the knife is in evidence. It's a fairly standard knife.
Oh, we don't think that's the real weapon. We're just trying to prevent further crimes committed by this gang.
Okay, well, if you'd like to. And looking around, you do see there's a number of other bodies. They're covered by sheets um, on other tables in this examination room.
While we are investigating this body, and thank you ever so for your cooperation, I am chasing a little story of my own, just a little side project of mine. Rumors are rumoring through the mill that there have been some other murders recently with unusual bite marks. I don't suppose anything like that has come through here.
Well, there has been some things, yes. Um,
I think
some
while
ro-
you two are talking, I'm
Mhm.
just kind of walking around, just with my little light bulb, just trying to
I
get a
genuinely
little
thought
read
that the
on
guy who
food and
was like
stuff.
covered by the thing was the guy
Um,
we went to
no,
examine. So I was like, yeah, this man.
yeah. So are you using
What do you
your
mean
light
knife?
bulb? That's the bleed detector.
Yeah, just while the two of them are taking point on talking to people, I'm like, I'm not talking to anyone. No, thank you. So I'm just gonna start
Mhm.
walking around, just as if I was inspecting stuff, but like with my bleed detector just kind of tucked in close to my chest, just kind of beep beep beep
Oh,
beep 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 beep.
okay. Do you want to give me a sense roll?
Go on, I will.
How many points in sense have you got?
I have 2,
Okay.
and I have 4 drives, so I'll expend 1 drive to add an
Okay.
additional dice. Is that how
Nice.
this works?
Yep, that's exactly how it works. So yes, so now you're rolling a
Let's
3.
go. Let's go. Oh, I also have my my little diamond filled out for sense.
Oh, so it's a gilded die.
Okay,
So roll one of the dice off color. That will be your gilded die.
lovely. What am I aiming for here?
A 4 or 5 is a success with consequences, and a 6 is a critical success.
Well, that is a 5.
Okay, right. So I'm going to say that as you're walking around the bodies, the a light bulb that you're carrying does suddenly start to glow a little bit, as it does when you're near bleed. Okay, beside one of the figures, this is a smaller figure that you're like a smaller body. Okay, and um, as you go to peek and pull back the cover a little bit, you see the body of a young woman. She was probably in her early 20s, slim build, pretty, auburn hair, and she has these large circular bite marks on her body. And you see, while the body was cleaned off, the small remnants of what looks like some sort of a clear, sorry, not clear, a colorless but slightly opaque because it's hardening mucus on her torso. And move your as you move your light bulb closer to it, it glows brighter and brighter. Whatever this fluid is, there is a fairly strong bleed presence coming off of it.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So, how popular is electricity at the moment? How widespread is it?
So capitalism is in all TTRPGs, as we know.
It's the
If
ultimate
you,
superpower.
it is the ultimate and the ultimate BBEG. So certainly Brendan Lee Mulligan would have us all believe that.
For sure.
The wealthy would have fully electrified homes, okay, and businesses. The more affluent and successful a business is, the more electrification it will have. Poorer homes might have some electricity, but there's no, like, it's not a case of everybody has it. Like, literally think of Europe and I suppose the United States in that turn of the century, up like 1905, 1910, as electrification was becoming more widespread. So street lamps are fully electrified, for example. Okay. But when it comes to individual homes and businesses, it really boils down to how much money you have. Everybody knows what electricity is. It's not like this, hoodoo magic or anything. But it's literally just a case of, if you have money and you live in a nice house, you'll have some degree of electrification. But the electricity, it's mostly being used just for simple things like lighting.
Yeah.
Cookers and ovens are still powered by either gas or solid fuels. Boilers in houses are solid fuel furnaces, or maybe if it's a very fancy posh house, some sort of a gas or oil burner. Um, People don't have toasters. You know, um, Radio has not yet been invented. Um, Music is still being recorded on like wax cylinders, that kind of thing.
So I'm going to make my way over to the poor young lady,
Yeah.
deceased young lady that Harrison has found. And I think that Gilda will kind of tut slightly. Poor young thing. And I'm going to pull out my camera and, to the best of my ability, preserving the poor young lady's dignity, like try and get some pictures close up of these wounds, these unusual bite
Yeah.
marks.
So as you're doing that, I'm going to say you'll get one or two photos, but the mortician, she realizes, sorry, you can't be doing that. Please, you cannot be taking photography of remains like that. We must respect the dead.
I'm ever so sorry, my love. As I said, this is a subject of some curiosity to me, these strange wounds. I do have to ask, in your investigation, did you find anything that might be of interest or explanation towards what happened to this young lady?
No, but they're not the only one. I've had 3 bodies come through here with identical wounds, large circular bites on their chests, and all 3 of them were covered in a strange mucus, which I had to be very careful cleaning. It was rather unpleasant.
I
Do you have
see.
any of
And
it stored?
No, it was disposed of.
of course, of course. Did you happen to perform any analysis prior to disposal?
I was mostly focused on the bodies. In all 3 cases, organs were removed, bitten out, as would be expected in an animal attack. But yes, it's I honestly, I cannot for the life of me think what kind of an animal would cause a bite wound like this, though. this circular jaw. It's truly, truly mind-boggling.
Goodness, how terribly vicious. While she's kind of talking about the other bodies, we noticed a bit of mucus still around the bite marks on this young lady, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'd love to try and, without her noticing, scoop a bit into a bleed containment vial.
Okay, so you're trying to be sneaky, are you?
I am.
So, I don't know. Would that be control, maybe?
I'm plumping for hide, given that sleight
Oh,
of hand is
sorry.
powered by
Obviously,
hide.
sorry. Bloody hell! Of course, it's hide. Yeah.
I'm not
Sorry.
just making an argument for that because I
No,
have more
no,
dots in it.
no. That actually makes way more sense. Sorry, hide.
All right, so I have 2 dots, so I roll 2d6, yes?
Yes.
And take the highest.
Yes.
Lovely, lovely. I got a 5.
Okay. I'm going to say you do manage to scoop some up, but you're not quite as careful as you would have liked, and a little bit of the mucus hits your finger, and you take 1 bleed.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right, 1 bleed.
Yes.
I should have put on some gloves.
Yes. As she doesn't spot you scooping the mucus into the vial, but she does spot some gone into your hand, and you're like, oh, and you're rubbing it off, saying, oh yes, you must. I was wearing gloves when I handled the bodies because of that mucus.
Yes, no, foolish of me. Sorry, I'll take a step back. I'll have to be more careful.
Of course, absolutely.
Looking at I think I'm just gonna look at this, and I'm just gonna whisper to you. I'm just gonna say, hey, can you get her out of here? I want to try doing some things.
Of course.
Thank you.
Sure.
Charlotte, darling, I was hoping that I could have a little chat with you about some of these strange bite marks, but I'm really thinking about what you said about respecting the dead, and I do feel it's a little inappropriate to discuss the circumstances of the death in the presence of these poor bodies. Would you be so kind as to step out with me so that I can speak more freely without
Give me
concern?
a sway roll. Marie, are you doing anything to help with this?
Give me a second.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. I'm going to approach and I'm going to say, yeah, my friend here, she was a bit not cautious enough, and I would really like to make up for it. I really think that bodies and poor souls would appreciate us not talking about them in their presence.
Okay, so you're getting an assist from Marie, so that's an extra die to your roll. So
That puts me up to 2, and it's a sway roll, yeah?
yeah, sway.
Yeah, so 2. Oh, I got a 4.
Okay, so well, she'll go outside with you. We'll figure out what the consequence is in a minute, but you guys are led outside with her, and she brings you into a small office space to talk to you a bit more about the bite marks in depth. Okay, while they are gone, what is our third intrepid investigator doing?
Well, I'm a medium, and I'm I'm surrounded by dead bodies, so this
Yes.
is actually great for me. I would like to try commune. Now, technically, it's okay. So you make a connection with a nearby sentient phenomenon to try to communicate with it. You take a brain mark and make a sense roll to open up empathetic or telepathic communication. Can I try talk to the dead person?
Yeah, sure, I'll allow it.
Yeah. That's too disruptive. I can also do my let them in weird thing, where I either I get to talk to the dead person, or I'm just gonna willingly take the bleed mark so that I can try get more info through let them in. So up to you.
Well, I suppose so. You've got a choice here of taking a brain mark or a bleed mark, isn't it?
Yeah. Either way, I'm getting hurt.
I'm going to say that the let them in, going by the rules, does make more sense, because commune is more like when you're like speaking to like a phenomenon
itself,
whereas you're trying to deal with the deceased. So I'm going to say, Yeah, so we'll say let them in, you take a bleed, and you get to ask me one question about the source of the bleed.
Awesome. There are other bodies here that have the same
Yeah, there's
bite
two other
marks, yeah?
bodies.
Okay, awesome.
A young-ish man who's obviously the guy who died the night before, and an older man, looks like he's in his like late 30s, early 40s. He's obviously the security guy who died like first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the most recent and the first. And I'm just gonna roll up my sleeves and I'm just gonna put both my hands. I'm gonna one hand on each of where the bite marks are.
Okay.
Because you gotta do repeat experiments. You gotta get multiple sources of information here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it right.
Okay.
And I think I'm just trying to lean in and just try to figure out what sort of creature, thing, being, phenomena would be able to make this, so that I can get within the like category ballpark of what we might be dealing with.
So what's your question?
I think what sort of creature am I dealing with, or yeah, what sort of phenomena am I dealing with?
Okay. So you will get, so what you get is an image in your mind, okay, of a great dark shadow, okay? And then coming out of that shadow, you see this horrific figure of a feminine face with large, glassy black eyes, a wide, circular mouth full of razor sharp teeth, two long, thin arms covered in leathery skin, hands ending in black, razor sharp claws. On you start seeing the start of a long, cylindrical body covered in leathery skin and mucus as well, coming out of the shadow.
You can see Snake Woman with like lust from Full Metal Alchemist fingers. Hate to see it. Awesome.
So it's a slug.
It is a slug, you know yourself. Get some salt. Yeah, okay, I'll get that. Then I'll just find like wipes or like a towel or something. I'll just wipe off my hands. I'll just try to put everything where it was, and then I'll go in to join the others, because that's as much as I can get from here.
So while you guys are in the office, and Charlotte turns to you and says, "So, okay, well, what exactly would you like to know about the bite marks?"
How many of them are on each body? Position of the marks?
Oh, 2 or 3 each. Each bite mark was quite large and did a considerable amount of damage.
Mm-hmm. What organs were taken?
Liver, heart, a bit of lung, some spleen.
Do you think that there were particular organs that this animal was aiming for, or does it look like it's more random?
I don't know. So the first man, he was a bit of a drinker. His liver wasn't in the best place. It wasn't in the best condition. That was not taken. Whereas the young girl and the young man's livers were. So whatever this creature was, it obviously was able to tell a good cut of meat from a bad cut of meat.
Has refined taste, doesn't it?
Gilda's just trying to hide the fact that she is very grossed out. She's like, play it cool, Gilda, play it cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking with somebody who literally handles dead bodies all day. She's ultimate goth girl working in a morgue. So she is very direct and not worried about social niceties.
Love that for her.
Yeah.
Cannot relate, but love that for her.
Life goals. But if I may, you really don't seem like typical investigative journalists. Most people don't really care about these kinds of stories.
Well, we're special. See, I've And Marie's just going to tell her about the past because I have sweet talk. That Marie started working as an investigative journalist because she noticed that there were a lot of cases that never got solved, or people who suffered never got justice.
Okay.
And she's just going to say that is this girl or is this young man, do they not deserve justice less than some rich man sitting there?
Okay, give me a sway roll.
Okay. I have 1 for sway.
Gilda, you gonna assist in any way on this?
Yes, I think so. I think that she's going to swallow down her distaste and say, Marie's fight for justice has always been very inspirational to me. She's something of a mentor.
Marie almost she really struggles not to laugh. 5.
Okay, that's a success. So she said, well, okay. I believe you're trying to do something justice for them, but I don't believe your story of investigative journalism. So if you come here again, I will be definitely probing a bit harder into your background and those connections. So you know she believes you, but she knows there's something sus. So you're not, you've gotten away with it this time, but you're very much getting the feeling next time she's not going to be so helpful and forthcoming with you guys.
Yeah, but Marie's also sure, go for it. Look at my past. There is literally nothing I haven't told you.
Yeah. So anyway,
at that moment, I just show up in the door frame, my hands still a little bit drippy. I'm like, okay, we good?
Yeah, time to go.
Okay. Right. So, where would you like to go next?
Well, I think Candy gave us the address of the latest victim.
Yeah. She did,
didn't
of
they?
The apartment, yes. She gave you the addresses of where all 3 bodies were found. Okay.
Right.
But that includes the apartment of the latest victim.
Yeah.
The apartment is a good. Along the way, I will share with them Slug Lady.
Slug Lady.
Never ever
Slug Lady.
Never any glamour in any of these cases. Hope springs eternal, and yet here we are again.
Well, best case scenario is she leaves a trail and we can find.
Yeah, but why can we not fight a bunch of spirit puppies or something like that?
That would be great. That would be great. Just a spirit that has had a shower is what I'll settle for that.
A shower would be lovely. But really, darling, I've talked to you about puns before. They are gauche.
A bath shower. A bath spirit. Oh, a spirit bomb.
So it takes you guys about 35 minutes or so to get to South Suffolk, and you go up so you find the apartment. He's on the 5th floor of this rickety tenement building. You are familiar with this area. Some of you, I think, are from this area originally, so you know what it's like. And looking, he's okay, this guy was pretty poor. If he's up that high, that close to the electrical cables, this guy was pretty poor. Okay, but you do make your way up to the apartment. Okay, so the space is quite sparse, with only a small amount of furniture. There's a simple table with 2 chairs. There's a small cooker in one section. There's some presses that he had for food and the likes, and quite a lot of dust. All right. But if somebody could give me, I'm going to give a choice, and anybody can do this: survey or sense.
I have I maxed out my survey.
Okay, so you can do that. But if anybody else wants to give me a roll of survey or sense, please
I'll do a sense.
Okay, or if somebody would like to assist Marie with her survey roll.
So I roll 3 dice and I choose the highest, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. They're all 4.
Okay. What's your sense roll?
That is a 6.
Okay, a crit. So we'll go with the crit. Okay. So what you as you're looking around and you can see where he obviously died. There's blood on the floor, and you see mucus around where the blood splatters are.
Mm-hmm.
But Harold, what you spot is there's actually a trail of mucus on the ceiling
Oh, I hate that.
that goes all the way to the window.
Yeah, I think I'm just looking around, just like, why's it
Yeah.
gotta be on the ceiling?
Oh
And
my god.
with that crit, I'm going to say that when you go out and you open the window, you can see the mucus going up the side of the building, up onto the roof.
Communicating all this as I'm seeing it.
Oh, I dislike this very much.
Harold, if you try to probe it with your light bulb, would it still glow?
I'm just gonna put it right up.
I'm going to say because you got that crit that you don't even need to roll again.
Yeah.
No, there is definitely a strong bleed presence coming off this mucus. As Gilda got from touching it, and so there's a strong energy, a strong bleed presence coming from this delightful mucus, which hasn't fully dried. So you have to be careful. Once or twice, a little bit drips, and you like sidestep so it doesn't hit your clothing.
I wonder if all of this is somehow connected to electricity in general, because this guy lived quite close to the wires, as well as like red light district.
Yeah,
something that would have a lot of like electric light, and the warehouse. There would be a lot of electricity in the warehouse.
I'm gonna look over like up in the sky, like the wires. Is there any damage to them?
No.
Okay.
No, it looks like the trail of mucus just goes up the wall and over onto the roof.
Does this house have like light bulbs and stuff in it?
No, God, no. This guy had an oil lamp. He was too poor to have electrification.
So it's probably not like an electricity generator up at the top of the building.
No. There's electrical cabling that crisscrosses this section of the city, feeding power to the different districts of the city.
Okay.
You mentioned electric wires a couple of times in relation to this, but I might be looking too much into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a defining feature of this section of the city, you know.
Okay.
Right. Well, who feels like climbing up the side of the building to see where the trail goes?
I'm taking the stairs.
Yeah, I'm taking the stairs too.
I mean, you can climb if you want. I'm not built like that.
You know, the stairs hadn't quite occurred to me. That probably is a better choice. You are ever so clever, darlings.
So you go outside and you find the stairwell to continue up to the top.
Yeah.
There's a door, but it's really rickety. It's probably supposed to lock, but it doesn't. And you come out onto the flat roof of this building. And yeah, going over to the side that the trail was coming from, you can see the mucus continues over the roof and across, and it looks like over this building it's a terraced structure. Okay, so there's other buildings, and it just seems to go across these roofs in a fairly straight line.
It looks like we have no choice but to follow the trace.
Well, I thought you were joking about it leaving a trail, but apparently...
Very considerate of it to leave a trail.
I wasn't expecting this to be so easy. Let's go.
So you kind of not jump, I suppose jump and climb across several roofs, about four sets of buildings, until you come to the end of the terrace, and the trail stops.
Oh, it just stops.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take out my bleed detector and just do like a sweep of the area.
Okay. And give me a fresh sense roll.
Go.
Can I give you a fresh survey roll as well, just in case?
Yeah, sure.
That is a 5.
Oh no, I have to re-roll one because it just rolled over. 6.
Crit. Okay, so I'll say with your crit, you do spot on another building, like about 5 meters away on the other side of the road. You can see just a faint trickle of a fresh line of mucus. But you also can see, like, this is going to be the way the buildings are structured. It's not, you're not going to be able to follow this as a straight line. It's it's not like a simple path. The buildings break up, and yeah.
Did this thing teleport or jump? Either way, it's terrifying.
Well, it
Yes,
is well, how much impact a slug can take.
Right. So our little rooftop adventure has come to a close. How can we continue to follow it? Your bleed detector seems to be reacting quite well to this dreadful mucus. Perhaps we can follow it from ground level. What do you think?
Is there any way that I can, instead of general bleed detector, put like a little bit of the mucus that you got in a vial, like at the bottom of the bleed detector, so that it's directly trying to track that source of bleed?
Ooh.
If I said pretty please, would that help?
There's no tinker skill in this game. God damn it.
No, I'm just trying to think what would be a good role for you to try and set that up. That's what I'm thinking here. I'm not saying you can't do it. You can do it, but we need to figure out what ability you're rolling to set this up. So
can we call it a focus?
I'm thinking focus myself. That's the most logical for me. Harold, what do you think?
Focus would make sense. In a weird way.
Yeah.
In a weird roundabout way, I would also call it a commune thing, where I'm trying to engineer a communion between my bleed detector and this phenomenon specifically, but that's a little bit wonky. A focus is good.
Okay, so do you want to give me a focus roll? Do you have any drives that you can spend on this to help you with the roll, or any way that...
Absolutely nothing in focus. So
okay.
What do I do?
I'd like to help. I have an ability called Saw This Coming. I can add a D1 to a circle member's roll without spending drive by saying how we prepared for this kind of situation together.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Yes.
I can imagine that one of those times we're all sitting in the fantasy WeWork office.
Yes.
And you're noodling about with your experiments that I have a client who's looking for their teenage runaway. 3rd time this year they've jaunted off, and perhaps you could create some kind of technology that could track people.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, we can use that. Marie, anything you can think that you might be able to do to help with this?
No, I don't think so. Unfortunately, not.
Well, that's a +1 to the roll, which makes it a grand total of how many dice?
1.
Yeah.
But I'm cool about it. So
let's roll and see what happens.
Go.
Come on. 6.
Hell
You
yeah.
serious?
Oh
my god, that is ridiculous. Okay,
nice one.
That is because this was going. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying you had to get a 6, but if you got a 4 or 5, there was going to be consequences. Okay, that proper consequences this time. So, okay, right, love it. Absolutely.
I don't think you're a maths teacher. What I do is I get the little the electric coil, and I just soak it a little bit. It's like, it's bad, it's nasty, it shouldn't work.
Yeah. You're doing everything you can to not make contact with it, because you saw how it harmed your friend. Okay.
Yeah, because it's the bottom of a light bulb, so it's not screwed on into a fixture or anything.
I
turned the vial into a fixture, and
yeah. Okay. So yeah, it does appear to be working, and you are slowly getting it's obviously fainter because of the proximity, but you are getting a faint bleed pick up. Okay. from your MacGyvered bleed detector. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And you slowly are walking along, following your trail, for a while, probably for about like a good 30-40 minutes, when you suddenly realize that you've actually come to Delvin Alley. This was the location where the body of the second victim, Mary Kentel, was found. Okay. This
Oh.
alley runs directly behind an abattoir, which is on the western side of South Soffit, so fairly close to it. Okay. She was found on the floor of the alley by Marcus Farrington, who works in the abattoir. He'd stepped outside to throw out some rubbish, and her body was found with a fairly thick layer of mucus on it. And you can see, obviously, it's been a few days, so the mucus is dried fully. But with your bleed detector, you're just making out the faint trail of mucus along the wall and up the side of the abattoir building itself.
Okay.
Similar to what you saw in the apartment of the most recent victim.
So that's an old trail, right?
Yeah, it's older, but I mean, so this is the thing, you've picked up on that. Now, for all you know, there could be a fresh mucus trail on the roof that you just can't see. You get me? So yeah.
I'd
But
love to just
Mhm.
have a look at this scene while we're here, see if
Yeah.
there's anything that stands out.
Okay.
Going for survey, if that
Survey,
makes sense.
yep, absolutely.
Lovely. I have 2 in survey.
Nice.
I do
Oh,
survey
that's a
too.
Yep.
that's a 1 and a 2, so I did a bad job of looking.
Let me see.
Mary.
There are 2 6s in there.
Okay.
Oh,
Unfortunately, there's no mechanic for multiple crits, as far as I remember. But what I'm going to say, well, with you, So with that, what I'll actually say is that you spot there's like a lot of rubbish in this area. You find the spot where her body was found. You find the blood splatters. Okay. And there's some rubbish just fallen over here, bits of cardboard and stuff, which is kind of like sheltered that spot from rain and the likes. So as you pull that away, you do see some what looks to be fresher mucus. It hasn't dried out. And with that 6, I'm going to say you notice something really weird about it. It's like middle of the day, but around where the mucus is, it's almost like it's darker in those spots. It's like the light is being sucked in along around the mucus. And it's creating a weird, almost shadowy effect directly on the ground in that spot.
No, that is freaky.
Yeah.
It's nasty.
Hello. I take my cigarette holder and I poke the dark shadowy bit with the end of the cigarette.
Okay.
It is a bleed detector.
Okay. Give me a sense roll.
Took me out.
Okay, I'm bad at that. So let's see if this highly scientific technique works. Oh, I rolled a 6 and a 1, but I have 0 dots, so I have to take the low one. That is a 1.
Oh no. Okay. What happens is the bottom of your cigarette holder is now covered in mucus.
Okay.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks bad.
Yeah.
Well, I
Marie-
have been trying to quit. Motivation.
Marie has like
concentration.
rollies, so she's like, and she's passing one.
I put on a pair of leather gloves and I just like flick the rubbish cigarette out and put a roll up, sort of shove it into the end of the holder. Thank you, darling.
Yeah. So yes. So it's okay. Yeah. Because what would have happened is the way your bleed detector works is like for you, the cigarette holder is purely aesthetic. You don't actually really smoke. But when you do have it near something that you want to bleed, the cigarette ignites and lights up. That's how it shows the bleed.
You're absolutely correct. That's exactly what would have happened.
Yeah.
Except it didn't.
Yeah, except it didn't. Instead, the cigarette got covered in mucus.
Yeah, I'm still figuring out how to use it.
It's okay. It's okay. Marie has got you sorted with some rollies. It's okay. So, what's the plan? Do we want to continue along this trail with our MacGyver bleed detector, or what do you want to do?
Well, if we know the name of the person who found this victim and it was in the abattoir, I wonder if
Mhm.
he's here. Maybe
He's
worth a
Yeah.
check.
certainly, yeah.
We might as well pay them a visit
Go in and
if
knock
they're
on the
still
door.
alive.
Yeah, of course. So you go into the abattoir. It's a fairly busy spot. There's a man at the front. He's kind of looks like in his early 50s, thinning dark hair, stubbly face. Looks like he hasn't shaved in about 3 days. Quite overweight. His shirt is bulging in the middle. There's blood stains and other bodily viscerous stains on his clothing because this is an abattoir. They slaughter animals, you know. He's got a cigarette hanging from his lip, faint trail of smoke coming from it, greasy kind of complexion as he looks at you. As I Can I help you?
Oh, I certainly hope so. We know the name of the victim, don't we? Out of character.
The victim's name, yeah, it was Mary Kentel.
My darling cousin Mary was horribly murdered just behind your building very recently, and the inspectors told me that one of your employees was the brave man who found her lifeless body, and I simply wanted to speak to him and thank him for his efforts.
Uh, oh, I think it was Marcus that found her. Yeah, I remember he telling me about that. Some little girl that he found outside.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, that's my darling cousin. I don't suppose you'd be so kind as to let me have a word, myself and my friends.
I'll see if he's here. Just give me a minute. And he kind of turns around, and as he's turning, you get a fairly strong smell of booze off this guy as well. This guy looks like he's pissed on the job, okay? Clearly takes his job very seriously. As he wanders in through the back, pushes a door open, and you see a flash of hooks and blades. And yeah, it looks like it's a fairly bloody spot back there. You probably don't want to go in, okay? Um, and a minute or so later, he returns, and with him is a man, looks to be in his kind of like maybe early 30s, fairly tall, dark hair, strong, muscular build, obviously working in a very physical job. And he's wiping his bloodied hands with a bloodied damp cloth that isn't really doing anything to clean them. Um, as he sees you all, he says, "All right, how can I help you? I hear you. What was it? You were friends with that poor girl that I found, yeah?"
That's right, yes. Uh, and I hear that you're the hero who alerted the authorities to her awful fate.
Well, I don't know about being a hero. I heard a scream as I was coming towards the back anyway to throw some rubbish out. That's the only reason I heard the scream over the noises in there. And when I went out, I found the poor lass dead on the ground, blood everywhere.
I don't suppose you saw any sign of who did this grisly crime.
No, the no. When I went out, the alley was dark as night. It was, and nobody in there.
I have
That's horrible.
oh sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I have a skill called interrogation, but
Yes.
it really only applies if I sense that someone's kind of hiding something.
You don't think he's hiding something, but I'm going to say we could use that to try and better trig his memory.
Okay.
You know,
Hmm.
so like, not that he's consciously hiding something, but there's possibly facts that he's not remembering that you might want.
Okay. So this skill means I can add a number of dice equal to my current cunning resistance to a read roll.
Okay.
So that will give me 2 in read to kind of see if there's anything else.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Cool. Cool.
So yes, I'll just sort of ask something along the lines of, "Did you happen to notice anything else?"
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a 4.
Okay. So, you do pick up on the way he said the alley was as dark as night because there is a couple of street lamps outside there, so it should have been better lit than he's describing, and that triggers something in your brain. So that when you comment on that, and it says, actually, now that you mention it, it was a bit unusually dark. Like it's relatively well lit, but it was like the shadows were just clinging to everything when I went out there. It was very, very strange. It was very, very strange. Yeah, it was like the shadows was clinging to everyone, creeping up the side of the building. It was very odd. And I don't know. I didn't see anybody, but it did feel like someone was watching me.
Goodness.
I'm going to say, though, that as he's saying this, the overweight, portly guy who's standing beside you, smoking his cigarette, suddenly starts to cough. He's obviously shouldn't be smoking, and it's coughing pretty badly. And after a moment, some phlegm comes flying out of his mouth and lands on your skirt.
I'll put my little light bulb to
it. There's no bleed from this. There might be some blood, nasty. But there's no bleed.
I just look here and say, that's just nasty.
I just bought this. I will button up my trench coat to hide the offending phlegm.
Yes.
And try my best to pretend that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are quite upset by this.
Yes.
Well,
I think that I have nothing else to say. Thank you ever so much.
Yeah, you're just gone. I'm
out.
Whatever other information you might have been able to get from this guy, you're not getting now. You are out of here now.
Yeah, if the others want to ask more, I'll wait outside, but I'm gone.
You're gone. This conversation is now over. So do you guys follow Gilda out of the door?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything here for me. I don't think. Yeah, there's no one here's dead. I can't talk to them.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have sweet talk and I have open book, but I don't really think those guys can provide any more information because they just found the body after she was dead anyway. Yeah. And I think that guy told us everything he could have told us.
I think whenever we can, I want to try find a map and just start to try and map out the locations and try to cross-reference that with the slimy trajectory that we have followed.
So I'll say that you could say you have a simple map of the city in your gear. You don't need to go find one. That's not a serious thing. And you mark out the apartment in South Suffolk, and then you mark out this alley on the west of South Suffolk, and you were told the address of the warehouse as well. It's kind of near the Red Lamp District. It kind of borders the Red Lamp District.
Yeah.
And rather unimaginatively, it's a fairly roughly straight line.
Okay.
Let's follow the fresh mucus and see if it brings us to the warehouse.
Into the Woods starts playing.
Yep. Just imagine a similar marching, except without a smiley face like Apollo's. Very.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it does look like it's leading you to that warehouse.
What a surprise, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's probably dealing with some sort of magical darkness. Probably inducing thing.
Do any of you guys, I'm thinking particularly our detectives and journalists, because I'm still not very familiar with the system, do you have any kind of abilities for trying to remember facts that you might have picked up,
No, I don't think so.
Not ticked off. I'm trying to see if there's any that I didn't choose. There is kind of some stuff that detectives can have that's relevant, but nothing about remembering specifically, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything like that for journalists as well. It was mostly about like connections and talk and like being the face of the party and stuff like that.
I do see one for journalists. Well researched. You can spend one intuition to ask the GM a specific question about a place, group, or concept that you may have researched before the assignment.
No, I don't have it.
No,
Don't have it though. There is I mean,
this is a journalist ability.
The focus ability, I mean not ability, but like rolling
Yeah,
focus, one of the things it can be is to remember.
Yeah. So I'm going to then say, not our medium, but you two, you guys roll focus for me.
Yeah, I also have read for cunning. Would that work? As in like something that I've read?
Where is this one now?
Cunning. Or is it more like read person?
That's more for reading people. That's what that is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I rolled a 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually I'll wait and see what my associate rolled before I decide if I want to resist.
5.
I'll go with that.
Okay. So I'm going to say with that roll, you know that the now having another look at it and looking at the map again, you know there's a number of warehouses in this area are owned by the Red Hand. So the Red Hand is an organization of people who consider themselves curators of magic, and what they mostly work on is trafficking in the illegal and immoral distribution of magical artifacts. Okay, so they're all about seeking power and profit, and what they are known for is taking artifacts found in Oldfair, the ruins of the ancient empire that once ruled these lands, that is now beneath the city of Newfaire, an empire that was governed and powered by magic, and it was and it was its reliance on magic and alchemy that led to its destruction. And occasionally, relics are found from Old Fair by archaeologists and intrepid adventurers, and they're sold to private collectors. But this is something the Red Hand specializes in quite a lot. And you do know they have a number of warehouses in this part of the city where they would store a lot of those illicit items before they sell them on the black market to private collectors. And of course, the problem with these artifacts is that because they are from Old Fair and they were artifacts that were, used in alchemy and the likes, that they sometimes are highly magical and have things like, they can cause bleed, or they could actually have phenomena in them.
So basically local mafia imported some schlug ladies from the underworld.
You don't know? Maybe.
We love an underworld slug lady.
We absolutely do.
You always need one on your payroll, just in case.
Yeah.
So you never need a slug lady until you really need a slug lady.
There is no way to refer to HR professionals. We'll put down to this.
Right. So what's the plan, folks?
Well,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
It looks like the trails are leading to the warehouses. So.
Yeah, you've got a point.
Yeah. I guess the thing is, if our 3 targets have been in a straight line, equally spaced, the other thing is try and see if we could extrapolate that growth and see where the next likely target could be.
Break out the functions tables. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, so we're figuring out the distance, right? But how far removed were they in time when they were found?
About approximately 2 days each.
Gotcha.
Like your man who died last night, and then Mary Kettle died 2 nights before him, and then the first guy, you can't remember you were told it was 2 or 3 nights before, but approximately 2, maybe 3 days between each one.
regular enough.
we still
being.
technically have like one night.
Yeah.
So we could go to the warehouse first, and then maybe
Yeah.
try that next.
Hell yeah.
So, do you guys want to head in the direction of the warehouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head in the direction of the warehouse. Okay, it's kind of on the edge of the Red Lamp District, as you know. And I'm going to say when you get there, you do spot like this is a working part of the city. You do spot a couple of people moving in and out of the warehouse, laborers and workers and so forth. They're transporting, crates and boxes onto wagons or taking stuff off wagons, that kind of stuff. This warehouse appears to be somewhere that is used as a repository, storing goods for later distribution. Okay, but there's a number of guys. Some of them are looking fairly big and burly. I'm going to say, give me a survey roll. Or would there be any? No, survey would be the right thing here. Yeah, survey. Survey or read, actually. Yeah, read.
I've done survey.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 5.
Okay.
I did survey and got a 5 also.
Okay. So
I got a 6.
Hell yeah!
Oh no,
Okay.
I did read, got a 6.
Oh, okay, that's actually even better. We're going with the crit here, okay? Looking around, you see one guy. He's a bit better dressed than the other guys. Clearly not a laborer, okay? And
He has money.
yeah, wearing a pretty nice long coat, nice waistcoat, shirt and jacket, and he's wearing a pair of very, very fine looking expensive leather gloves, and you directing people around. You're pretty sure he was pointed out to you once before in the in a club that you were in the Red Lamp, and you can't remember his name, but you do know know that, yeah. Like the clubs in the Red Lamp, they're not just like bordellos, like they're like just really good nightclubs, like where you'd have singers and cabaret acts as well, But you can't remember his name, but you do remember being told he was fairly high up in the Red Hand.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just go to clubs and I just try to steal their lights.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I also love the image of like Harold just being all like weird and nerdy and medium and stuff and doing his like weird engineering, and then looking at this guy and being like, this shirt, he was wearing the shirt from this brand, and his shoes are from this brand, and they cost that much, and just being like,
I'm like, don't mind me, I'm just stealing your light bulb. Oh, you look fancy, sir. Anyway.
Yeah. So as I said, you remember this guy was fairly high up in the Red Hand in this gang.
All right. I mentioned that to the group.
Lovely.
Criminal gangs and slug women. Lovely.
The two genders.
It's a beautiful combination, isn't it?
So what do you want to do? Do you want to try and slip in with these people around? Do you want to wait until evening time when they're done? Do you want to go look somewhere else?
I would suggest classic stakeout.
Yeah, stakeout.
I can't fight. Come on now.
I don't think any of us can.
Oh no.
But also another strategy we can do. We're not employed by the government or anything. We're like literally private investigators and private journalists. And I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, but it's one thing we might try to just be transparent with them and be like, look, we don't care about your business, but one of your people is dead and potentially we can help. But I'm not sure if it's a better tactics.
I love it.
You're right. You got
I like the journalistic instincts. But I'm here for it.
I'm just going to stay at the back.
Okay, so do you want to march right up to this guy and introduce yourself?
Sure.
All right. So as you're walking up, you come up to him and he's looking at you, he's like, can I help you out, love?
Marie's going to just like try to like stretch her arm and be like, Hello, my name is Marie David. This is. I don't remember your last names. I'm sorry, guys.
Insert name here.
Yeah, this is Gilda, insert name here. And
Gilda McQuaid.
yes.
Charmed.
And Harold, I don't remember your last name because I have terrible memory for names. My apologies.
That's fine.
You're just like hiding at the back, like, don't notice me.
Yeah,
I'm just in the back, like, oh, light's pretty.
It's a ball.
Yeah, I have my little bleed detector out while I'm here, just kind of hiding it, just like, oh, what's over there? Boop, 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 boop.
I'm a journalist. My friend Gilda is an investigator, and our friend here is a medium. And we are trying to find out what happened. We know that one of your men is dead in a very, very, very brutal, most likely supernatural way. And we want to help. And I'm going to use open book. When you attempt to connect with others by sharing something deeply personal, so that's deeply personal to him, I assume, add a number of dice equal to your current cunning resistance to a sway roll.
Okay, let's do it.
That's a 5.
Well, there was an unfortunate incident a few nights ago with one of our men who was found dead. We're not quite sure what caused it, but there are a number of unusual objects in our warehouse, particularly towards the back of the warehouse. If you're skilled investigators and you wanted to go in and investigate, you certainly could and see if you find anything that could have caused this.
That would be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Of course. All right, lads, let's give these people space. And the workers all start trickling out of the warehouse.
Marie's like, I can't believe this worked. She's like,
I'm sure there's no downsides. Let's go.
There's definitely opposite.
You guys,
there are definitely no consequences. Come on.
Head into the warehouse. As you do, you hear the sounds of the doors being closed behind you, and you hear the heavy sound of a lock or bolt being drawn across it.
Right.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Perfect. Love this.
Well, compared to the mucus.
I immediately start looking at things like, what could I use here to just like blow a hole in a wall?
At least we're here.
So, so inside the warehouse, okay? It's where am I? Apologies, folks.
Can we actually, on this exciting moment, jump to a
Yes.
break? If that's all right.
I think that's this is a perfect place to pause in our story. So we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. I need a fresh cup of tea. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be back very, very soon, and we'll see what's going to happen next. Okay, so back very, very soon, folks. Okay, bye. Okay, folks, and we are back. All right. When last we left our heroes, they had tracked via trails of mucus and other such things their way to a warehouse, which is run by a criminal ish organization in this setting called the Red Hand that like to trade in magical items, which often works out badly for people. Our journalist, Marie DeVite, was very persuasive in letting the man running this area let them go in to investigate, and he kindly did, getting all of his men to step out and then locked the door of the warehouse behind them. And that is where we find ourselves now in this large warehouse. It looks like it stretches back about 20 meters or so. It's maybe about 6 or 7 meters wide, and the ceiling is about, maybe 2.5, 3 meters high. Okay. There's no electrification in this building. There's various different wooden crates, and you do see a number of oil lamps fixed to the walls and other ones placed on crates for workers to move around if they need more light in a particular area. Okay. Towards the back of the warehouse, it is noticeably darker.
You know I'm getting my bleed detector out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you do. And I'm not even
Noticeably.
I'm not even gonna ask you to roll sense. Like, it's bright. Okay, it's gone from 20 watt to like 100 watt bulb. Okay.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Otto. Oh, I have a camera with me. Can I try and use the flash to see if I can illuminate that dark back wall?
Absolutely, you can. 100%.
Amazing. I have no idea what kind of roll that would be.
I'm also holding my light.
Um,
That's sliding.
I'll let you pick. Surveys, focus, or sense. You can pick, okay? Whichever one.
Going to pick the one I'm best at. Shocking and nobody. So I'll do a survey for this, and I think I'll spend a drive to give me 3 dice. Because I haven't been rolling super hot so far. Let's be honest. That is a 6.
Nice. Right. So, like, as I said, the warehouse stretches back about 20 meters, but at the back, like, say 3-4 meters, it's like almost pitch black. So stepping up closer to it, and as you move closer, Harold's bleed detector is growing brighter and brighter. And you taking out your camera, you flash it, and there is this brief, brilliant moment of light, and you see this form reaching up, almost like it's emerging out of the shadows. Long, cylindrical, worm-like body, somewhere between 3.5 and 4 meters long, ending with a pair of arms coming out from the sides of the body, and this human-like feminine face with these large black glassy eyes and this large circular mouth full of razor sharp teeth. As it looks at you, flashes, hisses, and then as the flash dissipates, they are completely hidden in the shadow.
Oh hell no.
Oh no.
Found the slug lady.
She's beautiful, isn't she?
Oh yes,
Got a
lovely.
name? Or is Slug Lady okay? Or is that insensitive somehow?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, all of those workers were in here and nothing happened to them, probably. So
That is true. That's what I was thinking as well.
I'm going to say that with that roll, because you got a 6, didn't you?
I did.
There's a noticeable mark of dust towards the back. It looks like nobody's headed down to the very back of the warehouse in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gotta love that dude.
And
I don't know what killed him. No idea. Not a clue.
You also notice there's quite a number of oil lamps down that end, almost like pushing back against the shadow.
But nothing, they don't do anything.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, perhaps it can only move where there are shadows to move into. So if we stay in the light, it can't get us. Nah.
Yeah, all the killings were in the dark, right?
They were at night.
Hmm.
You now hear the sounds of movement within the shadows and a weird guttural, almost hissing kind of noise. It's not hissing, but it's a weird guttural gargling kind of really gross noise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, hello to you too.
How are you doing today? Any new victims? Any new kills? No?
No. Right. Well, we found the problem, and
We
I
did!
don't believe Tandy did task us with destroying the problem in so much as finding it. So I'd say our work here is done and it's time to leave.
Yep. Good to meet you, slug lady. Bye.
Agreed.
Do you want to, Gilda? Do you want to turn around and try and leave?
I'm gonna do a commune, please.
Okay. Yeah, now you can definitely do a commune.
Because we can't, we need. The communication is a barrier, so I'll just let myself try to talk to her. A connection with a nearby sentient phenomenon. She's been killing people, so she's sentient.
Oh yeah, no. So you take a brain mark and
Yep.
You make a sense roll to open up an empathic or telepathic connection to ask a question.
Okay. Well, how many things do I have in sense? I have 2, thank God. Yo. I have a couple drives left, so I'm just gonna keep hitting those drives till I hit something good.
If you want to burn a drive or two, you can spend multiple drive on a single roll as well.
Let's go. It's gone 2, 3, 1. So we're gonna keep going. I have 2 more drives.
So are you? Yeah, we can add these 2, and then if that's not working, if you have resistances, you can use them to re-roll dice.
What the fuck number is that? Oh God, it's stylized die. I can't tell. Okay, that is a 4.
Okay,
took us 5 rolls, but we got to a 4.
On a result of 4 or 5, so on a success, you get to ask a question. On a result of 4 or 5, the phenomenon will ask a question in return. So you do get to ask your question.
I'm just gonna look at the group and say, what do we want to ask? What's question number 1?
Perhaps a sort of anything we can do to stop you doing any more killing kind of question.
What's your deal?
Yeah, like what's up with you, buddy?
Just communicate. Hey girl, what's up?
Sup, dude?
Hey, Slug.
Sup? Sup?
How you doing, Slug?
What up? Who dis?
Yeah.
Telepathic aubergine.
Oh.
Oh no.
Nope.
Instant TPK, like.
I die. Yeah, the question is, who are you and what do you want?
The response.
One sentence.
Yeah, I'll allow it. Okay, and the response you get is, I am old Mother Worm. I am hungry. And she gets to ask you a question in return.
Okay. I love that for me.
Yes. Which of your friends shall I eat?
Can I lie to her? Can I just be like, oh, well, friends is a bit of a stretch of the word. You're like coworkers.
That man behind the door who's wearing
The ability
really nice
doesn't
on the other
say,
hand.
so I don't know, you're technically not even required to answer. She did get to ask you a question.
I have a really good friend in the really nice suit, but he's outside.
It's delicious.
So, folks, you notice, you realize the shadows in this back section of the warehouse are growing and the light from the oil lamps is getting dimmer. What are you doing?
I'm holding my light. Like I'm full on like He-Man, She-Ra. I'm just holding it up so that I can get like a canopy of light around me to get so the other two can try get in.
Okay, right. And I will say that your bleed detector, because it is, as you established at the start of the game, just a normal light bulb surrounded by so much bleed, is actually giving off quite a bright light.
Let's go. I have a little canopy of light.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it reacting to light in any way?
So, well, this is what you're noticing happen is the shadows are continue creeping out until they hit the oil lamps, and the oil lamps go dark. And it continues towards you all. And as it is continuing, you can hear the sounds of the creature getting closer until you find the light from Harold's bleed detector is forming this circle of light, probably about 2 meters in diameter, that you are all cloistered under, and you're finding yourselves becoming enveloped by the shadows.
Can we sneakily, not sneakily, can we just like move in this ring towards the artifacts and try to see what artifact the thing came from?
Ooh.
You don't know, like, this is the problem, you wouldn't know where you're going. I mean, you could assume it's towards the back of the warehouse maybe, but like you assume that if this warehouse is owned by the Red Hand, there's probably artifacts in a whole bunch of crates here, you know? Like, I'm not trying to be difficult, but these guys specialize in the illegal sale of magical artifacts, and it's a warehouse full of crates.
My bleed detector is specifically attuned to this phenomena, though.
Yeah, but it's almost like you're being surrounded. You're literally being surrounded by the shadows, you know. At this point,
with the shadows.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm literally Batman.
Okay. I'm just gonna spend. I'm just gonna try and kick the warehouse door back open. I don't like this. It's time to get out of here.
that would be strike.
Okay, I've got 3 drives in here. Let's use all 3 of them.
I have
I'm
2
looking.
drives as well. I might assist.
Oh, thank you. 4. I got a 5.
I got a 6.
Hey.
Okay. Right.
Feel
So
the sun.
I will say that you, with a 6, you hear a resounding crack as something gives way, and you think you might be able to push the door open.
Oh, there's gonna be gangsters on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we have the slug lady. Sorry, the worm mother.
Well, I don't think
My
she's
apologies.
on our side.
She's not on their side either.
Okay. I'm just holding a light. I'm just scared. Well, like, her name is Old Mother Worm. Why would you call yourself that? That's nasty.
So nasty.
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy at all.
I'd call myself
So
Sexy Mother Worm.
The
Come
door
on.
is opening. You haven't opened it yet, but you're hearing the sounds of her movement as she's following you through the warehouse.
It's still daytime outside, right?
It is daytime outside, yes.
Okay, let's let some daylight in. I'm gonna push the door open.
Pushing the door open, daylight filters through, and the shadows are pushed back. They don't completely disappear, but they are pushed significantly back.
Can we just burn the entire fucking warehouse to the ground?
I don't know if the Red Hand will let you burn the entire warehouse to the fucking ground.
Well, they're going to have to stop us.
They could probably do that quite easily. They're hardened criminals.
I'm going to shout very loudly, "We're going to burn this whole warehouse to the fucking ground!" in the hope it sends someone running in to stop me.
I just take a little gun out and I go, woo!
I'm going for Sway here. I'm trying to trick the leader into running through the now open door.
Okay. Right, roll for Sway.
Okay, I'm spending one of the drives here. I got a 6!
Okay, he hears that and says, "No, you won't," and he comes running in the door after you. What are you doing?
Listen, I'm not saying I'm proud of this, me, Michelle, but Gilda is pushing that guy towards the shadows and saying, "Dinner!"
Okay, that's going to be a strike.
Oh, that's you should. Hey, I want to help.
Yes, please.
Sure.
Do I roll as well? What's
No,
going on here?
how are you helping?
I'm angling the light that I'm holding just so that it blinds him a little bit, so that he stumbles. So it's an easier.
Okay, so that's an extra die to your roll, Jill. Okay.
Love that. Yeah, I got a 5.
Suplex him.
So you shove him, and he goes flying. Okay, into the shadows, but he grabs at your hand and pulls you in with him. He is fallen on his back directly in front of the creature, but you are only like about 1.5 meters from them.
Girl, get back in here.
As she lunges down and bites into his chest, her teeth ripping through his clothing, his flesh, his muscle and bone with ease. And pulling back, she sees you. And she's going to try and lunge at you. What would you like to do?
I say cheese and set off the camera flash again.
Nice. Let me think. What kind of a role do you want to make this? I'm going to give you the choice here.
So I'm hoping that like the bright light is like a distraction. I was pushing to hide so I can get away.
Okay, yeah, super. Okay.
Amazing. Oh, try and not drop the dice on the ground. A 6.
Nice.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
So with the bright light flashing, you dazzle her enough that you step back away from her lunging strike. And you hear and you feel the wind as she launches her body at you with great speed, but she misses because of the flash, and you avoid her strike. But so seeing this, guys, what do any of you want to try something?
I don't think I have anything.
So with respect to gear, it's fairly like you. I mean, we're supposed to talk about it before the game, what gear you would have, but the kind of equipment that you would normally have as a member of the Candela. Okay, you would have a bleed detection device. Okay, you would have a bleed containment device. Okay. And you may have a hand weapon of some sort, a handgun, a knife, brass knuckles, something like that. Okay. So those 3 things everybody would have: bleed containment vial in some form or another, some form of weapon, and a bleed detector. And then you might have some specialty gear like Gilda's camera. Okay. That's personalized to you. Okay. So you could decide, oh, I want to use my hand weapon to try and attack the creature. I want to try and use my bleed detection or my bleed containment vial to capture them. It's up to you.
I'll try to shoot them while the flash is on. Let's say I had like a whatever, I have like a hand pistol.
Yeah.
Prepared.
Okay.
So I can try to shoot them.
Okay, so that's going to be strike.
Yeah.
I want to give you a 1D using the Sawless Coming ability. Like maybe we've practiced before that we have like a code phrase for like, I'm going to set you up to shoot.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
When I say cheese, that's actually a little code to you.
Yes. Fantastic.
Okay.
So that's
Dang, how many people are you
Great.
killing at photo shoots?
No.
That's how girls' nights look like.
Yeah.
God forbid women have hobbies. God dang.
Ooh. 3.
Okay, that's a fail.
Do you have any resistance?
Yeah, do you have any resistance in nerve?
No.
So that's a fail. You shoot, but it goes wide.
Yeah.
Can
Harold,
I shoot as well?
You, as I said, you could shoot. You could try and use or you could use any of your other equipment.
So the most that I don't really have that much. I just have like I have a little handgun as established through roleplay and definitely not shenanigans. And then I have my bleed detector, which is now like our mini shield.
And you have your bleed containment vial as well. What does your bleed containment vial look like, actually?
Have you watched Arcane?
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
Okay. Well, big ass cylinder, like glass. The majority of the body is glass, and then it has like these copper like toppers at both ends, and there's just a little electrical current. It's basically the Ghostbusters thing, but more steampunk.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
A steampunk Ghostbusters ecto containment trap.
Exactly. It is
Love
it's a bleed container.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. But I would imagine that we'd probably have to like weaken her a bit before we're able to do that.
I mean, you don't know, or maybe multiple containment vials would have to be used.
Yeah. Well, until we get our friend back in the light, I'm just gonna.
I'm back in the light now, aren't I?
Are you back in the light?
I think so. I
Yeah.
got a 6. So
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they got a 6, so totally
Yeah.
okay.
Perfect. I'm gonna pull out the bleed containment device, and see what the initial reaction is.
When you pull it out, I mean, the light is flickering in the area. It looks like she kind of like grimaces at you when you do it.
I'm going to pull out my blade containment device as well.
Cool.
It's nothing specific. It's just very standard looking. Marie is not very much into like fashion and style. She doesn't care. It's a very, very practical, pretty fucking standard, sorry for my language, blade containment device.
How could you?
Just looks like a jar.
Cool. So it's a simple jar.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it was like a little cute, like a lid on top
Yeah.
that you would see like jams
Yeah.
and stuff.
a little gingham thing on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to use your bleed containment device, it's going to be either focus or sense.
Okay. I have some focus.
Do you have any drives in intuition?
I do. I have 3 drives in the intuition, actually.
So you could spend some of them if you wanted as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm spending a drive. I am spending another drive.
Okay.
And that's a 6.
Okay, right. Critical
It was
success.
literally 1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, all right. Super. So opening up the jar, you hold it out at the creature and you see it's like shadows being pulled into your bleed containment device. And as it's getting heavy as you're holding it, even though it's filling with shadow, and clamping it down, you can see she has been significantly weakened and has physically reduced in size, but she's still very much a threat. But that has definitely had a significant effect.
Oh, well done, Marie.
Here's my jam.
Yeah.
So would anybody else like to do anything?
Has Harrison, have you used your one yet, Apollo?
No, you haven't.
Oh, I thought it was just putting it out. That was the thing.
You have to roll, yeah. So
yeah, look, like, you know, I'm gonna.
Focus or sense.
I'm gonna hit the little button at the top, and it's gonna click, 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 and open up.
Yeah, so focus or sense, whichever you want to use.
Oh, you know it's gonna be sense. Why would I do anything other than sense?
Absolutely.
And I can use a gilded die for this as well to try.
Oh, great! You might get some drives.
Hey, man, I hate to do this to you. The amount of 6s I've been rolling has been ridiculous, but that's another 6.
Excellent! I love it when my players do well. Okay, I ran a Feyre game on the Emerald Collective stream there for a while, and oh my god, none of them could roll higher than an 8.
Some days you have 8 days. Some days I'm DMing later tonight, and I'm scared for my players if I keep rolling.
No, I mean every stream. It got to the point where it was becoming difficult for me as the GM to progress the story because they rolled so bad every stream.
This is why I like systems like Blades and Candela, because even a fail has consequences. The story will progress.
Well, the thing is, in Fey Earth, you have lots of mods and stuff to help you to not roll bad, and it's all flat modifiers, which increases your chance of success probabilistically. And this was a stream where they got boons as well to help them. And even with all that, that's how bad they were rolling, you know?
The dice gods just straight up said no story for you
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
But I am going to say with that second critical success, so that was 2 crit successes on the bleed containment of vials, not even just regular, success with consequence. The creature's form is pulled in through yours as well, fully captured, and as it does, the shadows fall away. Not completely. You can see there's a very thick coating of mucus on the ground, and the shadows still cling around the mucus, but she does appear to be captured. The body of the Red Hand member on the ground, very dead.
Ah, well.
What?
Seems like we killed 2 birds with 1 stone, hey?
What? So, what do you guys want to do?
I'm going to say, good job, friends. March out straight out of that warehouse. And as I'm walking out, shout, if any of you bastards want to try anything, then have a look at what we did to your leader.
Give me a sway roll.
Look at the head of your leader.
Last thriving cunning getting used.
Straight
The
up Mad
resistance,
Max
I don't like that. A 5.
Okay, they're like not moving anywhere. Harold, Marie, do you guys want to do anything in the warehouse?
Oh, I'm just gonna go look at little trinkets. I want to see what trinkets they have so that I can bring back and just be like, you definitely shouldn't have this.
So, all right. Well, I mean, as I said, that would take a while because it's a warehouse full of crates and stuff. You can, if you want, you could give me a survey roll, or you could give me a sense roll with your bleed detector.
I'll go sense. You know I will.
Yeah.
I've rolled one thing consistently okay, and it's been sense.
Yeah.
And that's what we're gonna keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna spend a drive. Okay, I'll. That's a 4.
Okay. So what you do is, and remember, your bleed detector, you attuned it to the bleed energy of this creature. So it's kind of, it had, once she was caught, it significantly dims. As you move back in the direction of where it had been, as you're coming near the mucus, it gets brighter. And as you continue walking, it's getting brighter and brighter until you find yourself standing at the very back wall of the warehouse. There's a crate in front of you. The lid has been removed. It's full of hay. And inside of it, you see a rather beautiful looking object. It looks to be made of some sort of fine enamel, and iridescent greens and like almost like obsidian blacks, okay, in the form of a chrysalis. And it is giving off the exact same bleed energy that you got from Old Mother Worm and from the mucus.
She was trying to become a young mother butterfly. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh, I don't know if I should just touch it. I would just touch it.
You touch it and you take 1 bleed mark, okay? But
Lovely. I'm gonna.
You have
let
it,
it in.
but you take a bleed mark, okay?
I'm asking, hey, what the fuck? As it hurts me.
Yeah. So
what's your deal?
Having found the artifact that this phenomenon had come from, and having captured the phenomenon, with 1 more person dead, nonetheless, you do very much feel like you job relatively well done. Not perfect, but it turns out that this whole thing happened because of the Red Hand yet again taking artifacts that they shouldn't be taking.
We really need to just start putting little labels on the phenomena that say "Don't touch."
Yeah.
It'll be easier for everyone.
I also imagined in our like posh WeWork office we have like a wall with all the cursed shit we found.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, some
I'm
of it
picturing like a filing cabinet, and one of the drawers it just says like "don't" on it.
Yeah.
Do not
Just
open
don't.
ancient curse.
I mean, certainly some of the more dangerous things are taken by the Candela to be safely put away. But yeah, so you guys go back to your lightkeeper and tell them everything that happened and show them the lead containment vials, which she is going to take to secure away, and the artifact.
I'm also
Well,
going to pop the film out of my camera and hand it to Tandy and be like, I'm not developing this, but you may have it.
oh, thank you. This will be very useful for our records. The object itself, because they did examine it as well. It's like, because the creature is trapped, the object itself is fairly safe, but there is a bleed off of it. So I don't know if you want to add it to your collection or if you'd like me to take it.
I'm going to use it as a power source.
Of course you are, my dear. Well, thank you very much for another job well done. Of course, we will be making sure that the rent on your communal office space is paid for as per usual. And we shall be talking to you when the next phenomenon emerges.
Lovely. You'll be receiving the invoice for my ruined skirt within 5 working days.
A guy
And
just kind of spat.
Oh,
Yeah. Definitely has tuberculosis. That was a nasty cough.
delightful.
It was
Well,
horrible.
of course, of course. Anything to help you with your fashion, my dear.
Oh, you
She
are an
deserves
angel.
emotional reimbursement as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Marie. Yes, we'll split it.
All right. So, well, you head off, deciding what to do to celebrate on a job well done on what turned out to be a somewhat unpleasant assignment.
Hell yeah.
So, well done, folks. Thank you for everybody who stuck with us for this, my first ever Candela Obscura game. This assignment will be going on to Drive Through RPG probably in a couple of weeks. I need to put some fancy artwork in and make a few tweaks to it. But I hope you all had as much fun as we did. And this is probably the first of several Candela Obscura assignments that we will be running. But for those who want to know more about us, please, can you tell everybody where they can find you? Starting it this time with Polina, the most socially active social media person I know.
Oh my gosh. You can find me mostly mentioned in Fair's Twitter.
Mhm.
So if you go to Fair's Twitter page, I am tagged in all the artwork that I've done. I'm the artist behind the Fair's cover. So if you just scroll through there, you can find me there because I can't even pronounce my own handle because I came up with it when I was like 12 and I didn't speak English. And I had some deep meanings, but it lost. I have no idea what it means, but I've been using it ever since. But yeah, you can just find me in Neil's Twitter. That's the most reliable source.
Michelle?
Hello, everyone. I have been and remain Michelle Kelly. I'm an actor, singer, voice actor, and sort of prissy detective, it turns out. You can follow me at Michellecopter on some of the social media websites. You're just going to have to look for me. And if you give me a follow, I tend to post whenever I'm going to be popping up on another stream, if I remember. So check it out. I'm always showing up on all sorts of different channels.
And Apollo.
Hello there. Thank you for watching. My name is my name is Apollo. I'm a cosplayer. I'm doing a master's. I don't have time for all that. Cosplay is expensive.
Yeah.
Don't talk. I just have armor on a table. You know how wild it is to just walk into like your little workspace and you're like, oh yeah, there's the armor. Sure.
There's like 12 swords behind me.
God, as you should. As you should. If an office that I am in does not have a lightsaber, then it's not my office. Cosplayer, that's one. TTRPG performer, yep. And voice actor, God, sometimes. You can find me every other week on Hearthfire Tales. They're an Irish TTRPG channel playing the Wizard of Wildspace, which is a D&D 5e, but it's like a Space Jammer, but it was the Wizard of Oz, and it's very fun. I have not watched the original Wizard of Oz yet. They keep bullying me about it, but I don't have to. I got it. Don't look at me like that, man. It's very old, and there are no legitimate ways to find it online except for piracy that will destroy my PC.
That's fair.
You know what I have watched religiously though? the Phineas and Ferb Wizard of Oz parody episode, and that's just as good. Uh, also on Misadventurers League, you can find me doing Vampire the Masquerade stuff, Undead Alchemist Society, Scion stuff. God, I look, just find me. I'm everywhere.
Yes. Okay. And finally, me, you can find me everywhere at Faye Earth. I'm most active on Twitter. I try to post on Blue Sky, but I kind of suck at that, and I gave up on Mastodon within a few months. So you can definitely find me on Twitter, and you can find myself and Paulina here every Tuesday, 8 o'clock Irish time, 9 o'clock Central European. Though that may be moving to Sundays. We don't know. We'll see.
Because my master course haven't sent me a timetable.
Yeah, so
They won't.
So yes,
They won't.
you can find us on Tuesdays playing in Fae Earth, the system that I've created, an TTRPG set in a 19th century Earth where all the creatures from folklore and fairy tale are real and live alongside humanity. But until our next adventure, thank you again so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon. But I'm just going to say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.